Jessica here with Purple Puppy Papercrafting. It's been years since I've put a video up, and I just got a new camera and a new setup, so I wanted to try this out. So first we need some paper. Smooth white paper here. This one is from Concord and Ninth. They have a really nice smooth white paper. So for now, I'm just going to take some repositionable adhesive and tack my paper down. And then we'll get our first stencil on here, and I just have it lined up so the registration squares are off of my paper. And I'm going to use some low tack tape. Tape this down first. And then I'll just use a Sharpie to make these squares on my glass mat. And Sharpie's a really good thing to use on a glass mat. It comes off easily with some alcohol. So now we're all set up to start stenciling. So we need to decide on a color scheme. And my go-to is always some kind of purple. So we're going to start with macaron. Oh boy. Dried fig. Concord grape. And I think I want to add, well, we are going to need a neutral. I'm going to go with Earl Grey for our neutral here. Okay, so it looks like this first layer, cat hair on here, is the body of the typewriter, the body of the pens, and the body of the thumbtacks, binder pin, binder clips, and the ink pad label, or ink well label. I think I'm going to color the ink label a different color than the typewriter, and I want that to be teal. Some blue raspberry. So let's start with what we're going to color teal. Oh, and I just put my finger in that. Clean that off my finger. Okay, I'm going to use my little teal brush here. I'm just going to soften it up by rubbing it on the scrap part of my paper first. Okay, get a little. We'll start off and make it real light at first. Start on the stencil and then move to the paper. And then I'm going to get a little bit darker and just come in at the edges. I'm going to stop there for that. I am going to make one of the pens teal. So let's do light layer over this pen first. Then we'll come in with a darker color. A little bit around the edges and at the end there, just to give it a little bit of ombre look. I think I'm going to do some of the thumbtacks and one of the binder clips teal also. I think I'm going to go in full color on this binder clip. And then later on these. And see what a difference in color you can get just by adjusting your pressure and how much ink you put on your brush. So these are pretty light and that's pretty dark and it's the same color. I think I'm going to do one more of these. Okay, that's it for the blue raspberry for that section. My teal brush back and get out macaron and the purple brush. And let's start up here with these thumbtacks. And we'll go darker on these binder clips. Then we have our little pen down here. We'll start soft on. And then darker down here at the end. There. Now, our typewriter. Start off light. Whoops, got a little dark in that corner there, but that's okay. We'll just add some more. Make it look like I meant to do that. This corner too. And then we'll go in here. Okay. Let's see. Do we want to do any darker? Yeah, let's leave those for now. We'll see what the next layer looks like. So let's take this up, put it off to the side. I am going to take off my tape and reuse that though. Okay. Layer 2. So I start with lining up the squares, but then I also look at the images and make sure it looks appropriate for where it's lined up, just to be sure. Oh, shoot. All right. Did I just move that? Maybe. That looks good. Okay. This one looks like we need something dark. And I think instead of doing, well, let me see. Oh no. I'm going to get out a lighter teal. We're going to go with this Royal Icing. This is one of their newer colors. And I love using the ink cubes for a couple of reasons. One, they cost less, so I can buy more of them. They cost less than a regular size ink pad. And then they're easier to store. So I have all of my ink pads I have an antique cabinet that has these drawers in it. And I bought these things on Amazon that I can cut down to fit my drawers. So I store all of my mini ink cubes in those right next to me. So they're super handy to have. So let's start with this. And I do want to kind of clean this off a little bit since we had a little bit darker of a color before. I'll just try it on here. Maybe I'll use a little bit of alcohol on here. Okay. We're going to get some of this and just go in real light and make the bottle here. And we'll do this part on the typewriter. And the letters, well, the keys, I mean. But then for these parts on the binder clips, we're going to go to our gray. And just light. A little bit darker on the binder clips. Actually, a lot darker. Okay. Oh, look how cute. All right. Now onto the last layer. So we'll line up our squares and then look and make sure everything else looks like it's going to line up. Tape it down. Let's see. This one, I think I'm going to use the dark purple Concord Grape. Whoa, coming in hot. That is a... That Concord Grape is beautiful and punchy. Okay. Oh my goodness. Well, that's adorable. All right. Done with our tape for now. We're done with the inks. How cute those are. And just rub the adhesive off of the glass. It comes off super easily. And then I'll use some alcohol to get these little Sharpie marks off. So our clear stamps that go with this will put on the letters for our typewriter and this for the ink. I do think we should use black for that. I'm going to get out my full-size Misty. Hey, that down. And this will be for our typewriter keys. Line those up as best you can. Now I am going to close this and pick this one up so I don't mess up the placement when I'm trying to place this other one. So this is just the little label that goes on our ink. Bottle of ink. Okay, I think that's good. Hey, Tailored Expressions Oreo. Oh my gosh, that's just so cute. I'm going to stamp it again because I can. All right. Look at that. Is that not adorable? All right. Clean this off. I'm using the Brutus Monroe Cinnamon Heart Squeaky Clean. I love the Squeaky Clean. There are so many delicious scents. And I use it to clean my stamps, sometimes my work surface, my grip mats, everything. And I'm using this scrubby from Tailored Expressions. And it has a little removable thing. And you can wash these and reuse them. And I have a couple extra sets. I love them. The next thing we'll need to do is die cut these. So I am going to cut them apart into a couple different pieces so it's easier to get on my little die cut machine. And I love to use my little Platinum Scout, the lavender shimmer one, because, well, it's purple and I love purple, and anything that I can have in purple, I'm going to have in purple. I did change my sandwich up a little bit. I still use the platform base, a cutting plate, and then I cut down an Anna Griffin Impress magnetic mat that I put there. And then I can put my paper, my die, and then another cutting plate on top. So this is the sandwich that I like to use for my Scout. And I like to have the magnetic mat on there because I think it's fun to use. And it keeps it into place to where I don't have to put tape or anything. Now sometimes if I want to really be sure it's not going to move, if I spend a ton of time coloring something, I will tape it down. But for the most part, I just use the magnetic mat. With these. Well, that's backwards. I also have this. This is meant for nail, like cat eye and manicures, but it's a great magnet to have for your die cutting stuff too. Okay, we have that, and then we need to get our little bottle of ink. Right. Put that in. All right, let's see how we did on this one. Cute. Look, it even puts a little slit there. You can tuck paper in. Okay, that's adorable. All right, we're done with our die cutting for now. Put this on the floor. Let's take a look at our cute, darling little pieces. So there's quite a few pieces here. You could definitely make a couple cards with this. So let's take a look at our fun little elements here. We have our pens, cute little bottle of ink, our typewriter, and we have some push pins or thumbtacks and some binder clips. I kind of have an idea about where I want to go with this card. So, first thing we're going to do is to make the little piece of paper that goes in here. How cute is that? So this paper here is 2 inches across by 3.5 inches tall. It probably doesn't need to be that tall, but with it that tall, it goes all the way down to here, like the edge. So that gives you more to adhere there. We're going to start with that. And I have this little corner rounder from Taylor Expressions. I'm going to go with the medium round both of the corners that are going to stick up. I know typing paper isn't typically rounded, but I thought that was really cute. I saw it on, well, they had it on their tutorial that comes with your kit. They have it rounded there. So I thought that was really cute, and I wanted to do it. I do want to give it a little bit of interest, so I'm going to get this sea salt ink just to do a little bit around the edges, just very lightly, and that'll just give it a little bit of dimension. Actually, we are going to need 2 of these, so I'm just going to cut a little bit off of this one. So this shorter one can stay in our typewriter. I'll go ahead and round these edges so we can make another one. Yeah. And do these edges too. So I'd love to hear in the comments what your favorite color combinations are. Is there a color combination that you tend to go to? one that maybe when you can't think of anything else, you always go back to that, because mine is purple and teal. And sometimes I really have to force myself to go out of my comfort zone. But when I'm trying something new, like this card making kit, it's sometimes fun to, that's my Ruby, sometimes fun to step out of, or to just do your normal color combination. Okay, let's do our stamping here. So this is going to be our piece that goes in here. So I want it to be our sentiment to be as close to the top as possible. Oh, you know what? These are red rubber stamps, so I have to take out my grip mat. You're my type of friend. That's cute, but I don't think it'll fit on here. No, we need one of these smaller ones. And I guess that would fit better anyway. You are just my type. Just a note to say. Long story short, I love you. Hello, friend. I'm going to do hello, friend. Put it up here at the top. Center it there. And do this blue raspberry. Since our bottle of ink there is teal, which I guess doesn't necessarily mean our typewriter will be teal, but you know, why not? So, how cute is that? Hey, set that off to the side. Sometimes I spray my squeak clean right onto this little pad here, and that cleans off my stamps. Okay. We do need to stamp this one too. What are we going to do here? Maybe just sending happy thoughts? And I'm going to do this a little bit at an angle. Yes, I know you probably wouldn't do that on a typewriter, but this is card making. We can do what we want. And this is going to be the dark purple, that Concord grape color. Perfect. I think we are going to come back later and put some of those ink splotches on here from the clear stamp set that goes with the stencil. But we'll wait. Get some other stuff done first. Okay. Next, I want to do our background, which I think this will be really cute for our background, the cork board. But I want to stamp it onto a unscalloped background. So I have this all planned out too from Tailored Expressions. So I'm going to die cut using this large scalloped piece from some craft cardstock. So we'll do that to get started. For my bigger dies like this, I use my Gemini. So I have a plate for the Gemini Junior, but I actually have the full-size Gemini. And I also use the Anna Griffin magnetic mat in here. So I have 2 clear plates and the mat, magnetic mat. And I like that sandwich for this, for my Gemini. Look how cute that is. Isn't that cute? And this is what we're going to stamp our cork onto, cork board. But I don't want it to go all the way around. So let's get our big Misty out. And I'll take out this grip mat. Since our cork board is a rubber background stamp, we don't need this extra mat in there. I have some mint tape. I can't find my teal tape. And I'm going to use this to help me hold this down, but also to mask off the area to the outside of this stitched rectangle, because I only want the cork to go on the inside of the stitched area. Okay, we have that all masked off, so the only part that we'll stamp will be the part inside this mint rectangle. We'll take out our cork background stamp, put it face down on there, and pick that up with our door. We'll use a brown ink pad to ink this up. Stamp that down. Now I have this little press tool. It looks like a coffee cup and it's purple. My aunt got this for me and I love it. It's my favorite one. Thanks, Aunt Linda. And now look at that. There's a couple areas that aren't as dark, and instead of re-inking, I'm just going to go in and press those areas with my finger a little bit. I don't necessarily want the darker parts to get even darker. I just want more of a uniform look. There. And some of that's going to get covered up. So we'll put that away. Clean off our stamp. This back. Now let's take up this tape and see what our background looks like. And I'm going to save these pieces of tape off to the side to reuse, because you can reuse them several times. I just stick them to my desk somewhere. Hey, look how cute that is. So we have that just inside our stitched outline there. And I think I'm going to put it on just an A2 panel of, I think this is blue raspberry. We'll have our typewriter down here with our little letter coming up. And then we also have our other letter that needs tack down, how cute is that, on the corkboard behind our typewriter. I'm going to mount the corkboard piece directly to this piece of blue raspberry. This is my well-loved ATG gun. I spray painted it about 20 years ago, and it definitely shows its love. It is well loved. Okay, let's put this on. So cute. Look at that. Look at that corkboard. Ugh, I love it. It's a little too wide to go in there. So I'll just cut it in half and put it this way. Look how cute that's going to be. We'll put a little bit on here as well. Okay, let's put this one down first. And I like to use the pointy end of this to lift up the liner. And then that goes there. Oh my gosh, that's so cute. Okay, then we need to put down our little thumbtack there. A little bit of glue. And I'm just gluing these directly down. I'm not popping these up. I will use a magnet to help hold those down while it dries. And that is our finished card panel. All I need to do is add this to an A2 folded card base, and it's ready to send out to somebody. I'm not sure yet if I probably will put one of these on the inside. Just plain. I don't know that I'll foil it. I might foil it. If I do, I'll take pictures and put it on the end of this video. But thank you for watching today. I hope you enjoyed this just right card making project. And I'd love to hear in the comments your favorite color combinations and some any ideas that you would like to use this set for. So thank you. See you again soon. Bye.